up everyone, I'm the Kaiju no Kami, and today I'm going to take a look at an interesting OVA, or original video animation, for an anime based on a video game series I loved growing up, Ninja Gaiden. To most modern-day gamers, Ryu Hayabusa is the ninja guy from Dead or Alive who appears in that difficult game series called Ninja Gaiden. To those who grew up with the original Nintendo, Ryu Hayabusa is the ninja from Ninja Gaiden who appears in the boobalicious fighting game series called Dead or Alive. When I was a kid, like with Mega Man 2 and Wizards and Warriors 2 Iron Sword, Ninja Gaiden 2 was one of the games I played the most. It was the first video game I played that featured a full-on story with cinematic-esque cutscenes. Between levels, more of the story would advance as comic-like images would emerge in widescreen, and we would have a ton of dialogue to progress what was going on. It was amazing for a gamer, and is one of the reasons I prefer to play story-driven video games over random nonsense like online death matches. Tecmo commissioned Studio Junio to do this anime OVA in 1991, which takes place after the events of the first two games. Beyond that, there's nothing notable to speak on as far as its production is concerned. It features an all-star cast that includes Keiichi Namba as the main hero, Ryu Hayabusa, who is most notable as voicing Andy Bogard in the Fatal Fury and SNK series, Pisces in Saint Seiya, and both Zoisite and Umino in Sailor Moon.
これ以上深入りしない方がいい。
どうしてよ。
知らない方がいい。
私の仕事にも口出ししないでよ。
とにかく記事にしないでくれ。
Following in Namba's footsteps are Norio Wakamoto, Daisuke Gori, Yoshiko Sakakibara, and Yumi Toma. Most fans will know Wakamoto as the voice of Cell in Dragon Ball and the narrator in Gingaman.
それがおせっかいだって言うんだ。サラは何にでも首を突っ込みすぎる。
Sakakibara was Hamankarn in Gundam and Nahalini in Sailor Moon.
あら、そんな好奇心の強いところが好きだって言ったのはどこのどなたかしら。
The late great Gori Daisuke played Mr. Satan in Dragon Ball, among many other roles.
きっと天才先生は会社にでも寝泊まりしてんだよ。噂はただの噂だったんだよ。な。
As for Toma, you may have heard her voice as Helba in Dot Hack, Li Feng in Dead or Alive, Ivy in Soul Calibur, and Anne in Sailor Moon.
私あんまりそういうの得意じゃないか。
That is an amazing cast and probably the best thing about this OVA. Oh, I should probably also mention, given that I obtained the fan sub of this thing like 15 years ago, it is hard subbed, so the subtitles are burned into the video at all times. Anyway, let's see if this thing is worthy of the Ninja Gaiden name. It certainly can't be any worse than the second and third game from the more recent series, right? Ninja Gaiden kicks off with a bit of exposition explaining the core basics of the franchise, which relates to our main hero Ryu Hayabusa.
しかし、その力は竜の神々の血を引く者によって封印された。
From there, we are in New York City where we see Ryu being chased down by a couple of weird humanoid creatures. Some good music. He kills his pursuers and then heads to his antique shop, appropriately named Ryu's Japanese Shop. Very original. There, he meets up with his girlfriend Irene Liu, who... Wait a minute. That's Irene? Irene in the video game was a CIA agent. Great. They've turned her from badass agent into cliche anime girl victim thing or whatever. Shit. I mean, granted, yes, she did get kidnapped in the second video game, but come on! Anyway, the next day, Irene talks to her reporter friend Sarah about Ryu's lack of interest in her, who promises to speak to her boss, Robert T. Sturgeon, about it. Yes, his name is Robert T. Sturgeon. I got my laughs out at it like 25 years ago, so feel free to get your laughs out now before I continue this review. Oh, you got it out now? Cool, let's continue.
Robert is the owner of a...
Wait, that's Robert? In the video game, Robert was a soldier who helped Ryu out during the events of the second game. Great. So they've turned Robert from badass agent into...
邪気王の野郎を倒したばかりだっていうのに、どいつもこいつも邪神の力を欲しがりやがって、俺がアミを辞めたのは、もし邪神を呼び出そうとする奴がいたら、一緒に戦うつもりだからなんだ。
Oh, okay. We're good then. Carry on.
We also meet Jeff, former mercenary who wanted a life free of war and took a job at Robert's agency.
Jeff, you're using an unneeded F.
From here, we are taken to what is supposed to be a press conference for a scientist named Ned Friedman who has supposedly discovered the cure for cancer. The problem is, he remains silent during the entire conference.
Some conference. Did someone not tell him what the point of a press conference is? Huh?
Ryu visits Ned's house when he hears a mysterious girlish voice cry out for help. In the meantime, Robert, Sarah, and Jeff sneak into Ned's house after Sarah informs them of a rumor going around that Ned is actually performing experiments on humans.
手分けしよう。
Yes, because splitting up is always the best idea to have when you are searching through a demonic-looking house.
ネッドの幽霊の声だったなんてシャレになんねえぜ。
じゃあ、ゴーストバスターズでも呼ぶか。
Okay, that was funny. That was really, really funny.
それ、笑えねえよ。
Ryu appears before Sarah and Robert in full ninja garb and questions why they are there when they all hear Jeff's unearthly shrieks.
これ。
死んでるよね。
多分な。
Oh great. You got Resident Evil in my Ninja Gaiden.
The next day, Sarah does some investigating and meets up with a former classmate of Ned, a man named Bucky Wise.
それで、何の話でしたかね。ああ、ネッド・フリードマンね。正直言って好きなタイプじゃなかったですね。何か狂気めいたものを感じましたよ、彼には。
Oh yeah, he's not totally suspicious one bit now, is he?
Later, a cat waltzes into Ryu's store, leading a group of assassins with it to try to kill him. Ryu takes most of them out, while Irene manages to kill one of them while scared out of her mind.
CIA agent, people.
Ryu tells her to leave him as he does not want her to come to harm.
俺から離れてくれ。俺には君を幸せにすることはできない。君を戦いに巻き込みたくないんだ。
Come on, dude. You know that's not how it works, right? In fact, telling the people you love to leave you because you don't want them to be put into harm usually puts them into harm's way even greater, because then they're not around you for you to protect them at all.
Robert and gang go to speak to Irene just in time to watch her get kidnapped. They chase after her and Robert makes this grand deduction.
そうこんなことならポルシェでも買っときゃよかったぜ。
I really like this guy. He is very fun.
Ryu gets down to serious business.
You can tell because he put his headband on.
I cut the whole rod in half of the #1 headband.
He kills a couple of fishman monsters and heads into Ned's lab. Meanwhile, Robert laments the situation, to which Jeff responds by pulling out a suitcase of weapons, telling Robert to take the one he is most comfortable with. Sarah wants to go, which is followed up by some hilarity.
第一そんなスカートじゃ走れない。
好奇心の強いところが好きなんでしょ？
They arrive at the lab and end up having to take on a bunch of
werewolves now? Huh? How?
Jeff gets some development.
除隊して国へ帰ってからは普通に生きようと思って臆病者のマスクをかぶってきた。臆病者になれたと思った。ところがどうだい。嬉しいんだぜ。
Which means he is most likely going to die.
Ryu finds the lab where the werewolves are bred and a cowering scientist who exposits Ned's plan.
これを投与した第一実験体の遺伝子と同様
とにかくこれだな。よし行け。
Jeff dies.
この野郎。
Nope. Still alive. That's actually kind of surprising.
Ryu smashes through Ned's sunroof, learning Irene is there, and the real villain reveals himself.
ここに女の子がいるな。
よくやってくれたよ、ネッド。
What? It's Bucky? Captain America is going to be so pissed.
Bucky kills Ned after revealing the truth behind everything.
見えたかね、私の中の邪神の姿が。邪神の力の波動を記録したのは私だ。それを元にネッドに作らせた。もっとも最初はこいつの娘を預かって無理やりやらせたようなものだったがね。
まさか
邪神の。その通り、邪神の肉体の一部だよ。
Ned's daughter runs to Irene and the others while Ryu battles the mutant demon. The final battle begins. Ryu is stabbed by Bucky, who gets called out for his deed.
Duh, he's a villain.
Irene tries to help, only to get injured in the process, which infuriates Ryu, forcing him to toss himself and Bucky off the roof.
Fatality.
Irene tears up thinking Ryu is dead, only for that to not be the case. From there, Bucky gets up and transforms into a giant.
Or not? He's dead? Like, really? Really dead?
Oi, Sora!
いっぱいやろうぜ。
Okay then. Never mind. He is actually dead. That has got to be the most underwhelming final battle I have ever seen. Did they ever even play the games? Do they not know that the final boss is supposed to have like 3 frickin' forms that you have to beat in like 1 frickin' life or something? Do they not know that? Do they not know that? Did they not pay attention? Whatever.
Sarah arrives on the scene, punches Rob, who then proposes to her.
結婚しよう。結婚？
ちょっとロバート、もう少し場所考えてよ。
このまま教会へ行こう。
行きますよ、サラさん。
Oh, and we see Ned's daughter and the evil cat thing from earlier holding onto the demon body piece Bucky had.
Who cares all that? We have the credits to roll. That was the anime adaptation of Ninja Gaiden.
Actually, it wasn't too bad. It was a little slow moving and the final battle sucked major Dragon Balls, but for the most part, I did enjoy it. I don't like how Irene went from being a CIA agent to a useless shop clerk though. That made little sense. I also wish we had seen Ryu put on his mask, but whatever, I can deal with it. The animation was fine for what it was, and it did have some neat ideas even if it wasn't anything extraordinary. I do like that they do reference the fight against Jackio from the games. I did expect a little bit more of the mythology to be included though, such as Ryu's sword being forged out of a dragon fang, especially considering that played a major role in the game this is meant to be a sequel to. The music gave off a John Carpenter vibe, which I do applaud.
死んでるよね。
多分な。
サラ、カメラだ。
There's not much to talk about as it's only 50 minutes long and is pretty light on plot and character development.
And fights. But hey, it had a lot of exposition, and Robert was a fairly likable character, especially because he had a lot of great one-liners.
くそー。こんなことならポルシェでも買っときゃよかったぜ。
買えないくせに。
Overall, if you're a fan of the Ninja Gaiden game series, especially the old NES ones or the Super Nintendo trilogy that was a remake of the NES games, it's definitely worth checking out. I had a good time. It's not anything great, and it's pretty much retconned by the third game, but I've seen much, much worse. Until next time, bye.